No growth.
Which, of course, you know, there's Zizek has talked about that, how this movie is also like about Lacanian, you know, fantasy, and about how the whole movie is Cruz being like overwhelmed by like the super fluidity of fantasy.
A handsome pledge, and yet a drop in the ocean.
Thanks, sir.
I don't know who you're playing at, but you're in the doghouse now. You'll pay.
Oh, thank God you're breathing.
And they need to have sex not to fulfill this fantasy, but to push it away, and like turn their back on it and say, no, we'll just do the thing that can never compare to the fantasy that they've been pursuing the whole time, which is not about sex. It's about something beyond that. But there's this thing that happens in that last scene that it's some room 237 shit, but it is interesting. That is part of the theory of people who say that it is about elite pedophilia and that it's like a coded message. And that is that, so at the last shots before because the very end of them is just close-ups of them and then like the two shot of their heads talking. Before that, the daughter they're leading her through one of these aisles, and they stop at the head of one of the aisles and turn to each other. And the daughter, who's between them but behind them, starts walking away from them. And then two men kind of go up next to her, and one of them steps between the daughter and them, almost like she's being kind of taken. And they're both guys who appeared at the Ziegler's party at the beginning of the movie, including one of them who was a waiter at the party. So
interesting.
The theory there is that the deep implication here is that the daughter is being taken.
And that sets up the movie Taken.
Yes.
No,
I have a very particular set of skills. Repeating what people tell me.
Yeah, I have a very particular set of skills. Getting pussy, not one of them. No, I actually, yeah, I mean, you guys lay out a very convincing case that this is about Epstein and it's about like elite pedophilia rings. But I think this movie is about imposter syndrome. Tom Cruise has it, and it destroys his relationships with Sidney Pollack.
Yeah, but even before like pedophilia, because it's like even elites, like let's say it's politicians or whatever, they can't just be buying like top dollar fucking prostitutes. So even if you had a bunch of like politicians or whatever going to parties to fuck prostitutes, that would be pretty fucking scandalous.
Yeah.
So the idea that it would be wrapped up in some satanic bullshit where they are worried about like, oh, this is getting out or whatever, then they're murdering people to cover it up. I mean, like, that is kind of like, if that is the case, they're having those parties, that by itself is I don't know, alarming or or would be something to reveal.
I mean, I think like if you I'm like I'm not convinced that this movie is like a, you know, I take it about as seriously as the idea that like The Shining is about how he helped fake the moon landing. I just think it's something fun to think about.
Yeah. Well,
That being said,
it's like most art. It's not about anything. It's about what you bring to it, and it's a way to structure your own thoughts about it with the metaphors provided.
That being said, like, I do think if you look at Kubrick's work as a whole, there is a sort of a thread throughout all of them, like whether it's like Barry Lyndon or Paths of Glory or even like Clockwork Orange or like almost any of his movies. Like the characters or actors that are in them are just sort of like these clockwork pieces as part of this broader mechanism of which they are sort of irrelevant to the whole of. It's why the acting in a lot of his movies comes across as kind of like weirdly stilted in a way, because it's like he kind of doesn't care about actors or individuals. But like I'm thinking Barry Lyndon specifically, like he abstracts the individual as part of these larger, like sort of geometric groups and patterns where individuality sort of melts away and people are wiped out. You know, that scene where they walk into, you know, a musket fire in the French column. But on top of that is, I think, a deeper message about how dangerous power is. And like specifically after he filmed Dr. Strangelove, he never went back to the United States, never made another movie in the United States, never even flew on an airplane again, I think, and like put all of his money in like Swiss banks and gold and shit.
Crow of Elysium, we honor thee!
We honor thee! We honor thee! We honor thee!
No mortal flame can destroy common woe. Just one fire can conquer. Fire that burns in the fields of Elysium.
Hail, brothers! Many brothers!
Brothers many, make brothers one. Hail fellowship, hail Crow in his verdant kingdom. Common woe be done.
Hail, brothers! Common woe be done! Set us free! 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 Set us free!
Yeah. Look around. Some of the most powerful men in the world are gathered in this clearing. Members of one of our country's most exclusive clubs. Invitation only, unless, of course, you invite yourself. They gather here to seek God between the branches of these magnificent trees. They eat together, they piss next to each other, and they carve up the world like a Sunday roast. This is where the real power is. No women or presidents allowed. The former I am not, the latter I will be again. Because I have managed to reduce a national election down to one state. And while these men here can't swing the votes of an entire nation, one measly state, well, that they can do. And that's why I'm here. So welcome to Elysian Fields.
Night of Grayson. Let's get into Bohemian Grove. Let's get into the technocracy. Let's get into who runs things. Let's get into the mindset. Whatever points you want, and I'll try to shut up and go through it.
This is Tim Dillon's wheelhouse.
This is because you're saying they want mortality on the roads.
Look at this thin, young, handsome, boyish, baby-faced Alex Jones.
Well, that's 2004, but yeah, I mean, I knew you in like
98. Well, in 98
I met you in 98, but then I got to know you in 99.
This was when you were, 98 was when you were protesting.
And this is my clip. You guys are welcome to play this. It's really good.
Yeah.
I'll sign a form.
Okay.
You can use it.
What is going on in this clip?
He's interviewing a lizard.
Let's
no, this is
play
this is the
It's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the